Welcome to Crave the Rave, a naughty podcast for old school ravers who need a fix of the rave. I'm Lady Bizarre.
And I'm Jess the Mess.
On each episode, we'll be reminiscing over hilarious, embarrassing, and downright mental stories from our raver days. Think trippy tales, fezzy fails, and stories from the sesh. We've seen, heard, and done it all, and we bet you have too. So join us for a trip down memory lane.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crave the Rave, a Christmassy episode this time. And this is our first episode where we're actually recording remotely because Lara's back in Mexico. And I'm not going to lie, we have cheated. This is coming to you on Boxing Day. We did pre-record this a few weeks before, but I'm sure my Christmas day has gone really, really well. And I'm a bit hungover. Hope yours did too. And what better than to listen to Crave the Rave whilst you're nursing a hangover?
Come on.
So Lara, how have you been? How's it been back in Mexico?
Oh my God. So it's so good to be in the sun. Obviously, I left England as the temperatures were dropping and it immediately went to like -3 like the day after I left. So I was quite smug about that.
It's been cold.
Now it's been cold. I hear. Although now I'm recording in a cupboard and I am feeling like I'm in a sauna. The camera on my laptop's literally steamed up because I'm so hot, which is making us laugh a lot. And
I think the sauna looks good on you. You're sweating away in that cupboard.
I need an ice bath. That's what I need right now, not a fucking sauna room. But yeah, it's a little makeshift studio over here because I live in quite a big, spacious apartment. Ooh, poor me. No, I'm joking. But there's a lot of space and it means it's really super echoey. You get more bang for your buck over here in Mexico, let's say that. So anyway, yeah.
Well, enjoy it because it's really cold here now. It's so cold. Really
you know, I can't deal.
No. Icy cold. So enjoy your sweaty cupboard vibes.
Yeah. All right.
So what have you been up to since you've been back?
Do you know what? Mostly it's just been like readjusting. It's always quite weird. 6 months I spent back in England. I tend to come here, as you know, for like half the year and then spend summer back in London, where I'm from. And it is a weird thing when you go away for so long and you kind of get off the plane, you come back into your old space and you're like, I don't know, it was quite weird at first. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to be here. And then I went out for like, an Aperol with my friend on Friday and 2-for-1 pizza and it was banging. And then on Saturday I went for brunch with my other mate and I was like, we just walked down like towards the beach and I was like, oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like a bit more settled now. And I've been dancing loads. I dance this Brazilian zouk and there's loads of really good teachers in town right now here in Mexico and the Caribbean coast. So that's been fun, having some really good quality teaching, getting back into mad groove over here too. So that's kind of been my vibe. Yeah, it's been my vibe.
Well, I'm missing you. I loved having you here. It was really fun having us together, but I know that you're happy out there in the sunshine.
Oh, I know. I miss you too. What about you? What have you been up to?
So obviously I've been getting ready for Christmas. There's a lot to do. It's been very busy. The diary has been full of activities. Expensive, isn't it, Christmas? Bloody expensive.
Yeah.
To see Father Christmas alone is 50 quid now. And it's harder to get tickets than it is for Glastonbury, I'm telling you. Yeah, we took Baby D to see Father Christmas and it was amazing. Don't get me wrong, like they have upped their game since when we were kids and used to go to like the shopping centre. But it's expensive. Yeah, really expensive.
My mum, I just found out recently, I didn't know this, but my mum dresses up as the elf at the local church every year.
No way!
I know, she just casually dropped it into conversation. I was like, sorry, what? She was like, yeah, I'm the elf every year. I'm like, sorry, why have I not seen pictures of this? Like, that is so... I know, it's
like I told you all about the stories about when I used to be an elf. Oh my gosh. So I used to be an elf in the Whitgift Centre in Croydon and it was proper ghetto. It was like the ghetto elves, right? So have I told you all this? It's so funny.
I remember it vaguely.
Right. So I got the job. I was only like 18 and I took it very seriously. I started buying accessories to go with my costume and I took it very seriously. So yeah, it was in the Whitgift Centre and it was just so mad. So some of the things that happened was, so the Father Christmases couldn't see each other. They had it's typical Croydon, yes. Yeah? So they had like beef with each other, so they couldn't see each other. But they obviously couldn't do like, it was like really long days of like 12-hour days, and they didn't want to do like 12-hour days, or not without a break. So they'd have to like transition. One would come in and one would come out the other door. And it was only a tiny, tiny little room. And one Father Christmas would come in and one Father Christmas out, but they couldn't see each other, because if they saw each other, they'd start scrapping. So we'd have to like navigate it so that they would never ever see each other. But you also have to do it so that the kids don't clock what's going on as well. So it's like really hard work to actually make it happen, like all the logistics around it. So that was one thing.
Whoever knew that Santa Claus was a diva?
Diva was one way to put it. They were horrible. They actually were like really horrible human beings. And when I first saw them putting on the suit, my heart broke a bit, because I was like, this is not right. These people are not Father Christmas. Like, just shocking things, like a little girl could come in all dressed in pink, but she'd be a baby, but all dressed in pink. So, you know, obviously it's hard to tell the difference of the sex of a baby when they're younger, but it'd all be in pink with his ears pierced. And then Father Christmas would be like, oh, how old is he? And the mum and dad would be like really offended. Yeah, he just did things like that all the time. I don't know if he was doing it on purpose. I don't think he was. I just don't think he had any Christmas spirit to him. One did a wee in the back of the grotto, in a milk carton. But you can go to the toilet, and he did a wee in the milk carton. That was disgusting. And then one day we came in, and bear in mind we were like the last people to leave the shopping centre. We'd like lock everything up and then we'd go. And we came in the morning and all the toys had been nicked out the grotto. And there was like loads, but they're all only worth about £1. And they were all been individually wrapped. And literally the whole lot had been stolen. So we reckon it must have been like an inside job by a security person, because we had locked up and we were like one of the last people to go. There wasn't the public in there. What they wanted was like 100 packets of crayons, I don't know, or like 100 crappy yo-yos, I don't know. But yeah, the lot got nicked.
Wow, that's mad.
And then there was other things that used to happen. So the kids used to be so excited. They'd queue for ages to go and see Father Christmas. And I was a bit worried that Baby D might be like this when we went the other day, but they queued for ages to see Father Christmas. And my job was like entertain them. They would ask me really clever questions that I couldn't answer. And anyway, they queued for ages and ages and ages. And they were so excited. And then the curtain would pull back for them to go in and see Father Christmas. And they'd literally shriek and cry and burst into tears because they didn't want to get in this tiny little room with a stranger with a fake beard on. And like, I could totally get it. Like, actually terrifying. You're taught not to talk to strangers, and then suddenly you're put in this room with a man that's called Father Christmas. That's magic.
Yeah. The strangest of strangers ever.
Yeah, really odd. But that was a long time ago. But since then, it has, the one that we went to the other day, no wonder it's expensive because it's really upped its game since then. But other things that happened, I got Glastonbury tickets. So that was a while ago. So I've been training again for that. And so I went out for a run this morning, also to burn some of the Christmas calories. By the way, if you can hear screaming, that is Baby D downstairs. I think she knows that I'm recording a podcast. And in a 2-year-old fashion, she's decided that she now wants to scream and shout and run about. So sorry about that. That's just a mum life.
Where did she learn that kind of mischievousness, eh?
She's so naughty. Honestly, she's so naughty. She's been good as gold all day. And as soon as we pressed record, she started shouting her mouth, which is typical of her, really, because, yeah, it's exactly the sort of thing that I would do. But yeah, I went for a run this morning and it was like icy cold. I needed to drop some of the Christmas chocolates and the Christmas pounds and stuff that I've been eating.
Jess, I'm impressed. You went running this morning.
I have to, like, the vision is Glastonbury. There's so much walking, there's so much running. I need to start now. I'm very unfit. But yes, thank you. I did. I went. But it was actually just really nice to just go for a nice run, clear my head, get out of the house, it's only about 3K, but it felt really good just to listen to loud tunes. That's the thing. Nowadays, if I need to actually listen to loud tunes, because I'm not going clubbing anymore, I just go for a run. That's the only place I can get it to release some endorphins and exercise, is go for a run. I can't believe that we used to, back in the day, dance for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, it's so true. It's actually really good exercise.
It was amazing. We used to do it every weekend, literally like 10, 12 hours. We're definitely on our feet, if not dancing, all that time. So 100%. Now my little 20-minute run is the closest I get to having those nightclub vibes.
Okay, what were you listening to?
Ah, well, this is the thing. This is the pressure of it. I've only got 20 minutes. I want to listen to something good. Normally drum and bass, but I've really been getting into bass line. I'm sorry, I know I'm late for the party,
Oh,
but I love it.
no. We
I love
disagree
it.
on this.
I love
We
it. I think maybe because I went to uni in Manchester that was in my life then, but I've gone back to a bit of bass line.
Was it at Glastonbury that you would like I can't think, I'm trying to think now. I remember there was a time recently where there was bassline and I'd be like, I don't want to hear any more bassline.
Love
Was that at
it.
Glasgow?
Probably. I'll tell you what I love and who I love running to. I just love Eats Everything. I just love his music. I love it. It gets me going. It's perfect running music.
Isn't it ironic that the reason you're going running is because you eat everything and then you're listening to him eat? I bet you never made that connection, did you?
Oh my God, that's so good.
I
Yeah, why are
know.
you running? Because I eat everything. To what? Eat everything. That could be a next tune. That's going to be a sample for it.
Right. Well, you said on the last episode that you wanted to be an MC at on the third
Eats
episode.
everything.
So
Eats everything. Eats everything. Eats everything. Eats everything.
eats
Yeah,
everything.
I saw him at Glastonbury, and I was like fangirling hard, but he was just standing there, and I really wanted to go up and say hello, but I just didn't have the balls to do it. Would you have said hello to somebody that you'd seen, like a DJ?
No, but we saw his set at the whatever
We
it
did
was, the
glitter
disco.
box, yeah, glitter
Yeah,
box.
that was
But
good. That was so good.
it's so good. I saw him afterwards, like a
Yeah,
day or
yeah.
two afterwards, just with a couple of people, and I was like, "Have I got the balls to say hello?" What would you have said if you saw a DJ that you really like? What would you have said?
I've still got the tune. Eats everything. I'm just imagining going up to him being like, "Yo, eats everything, 'cause I eat everything." But yeah, he probably would be like, "What the hell is up with you?"
Well, because I'd be dancing to him all night the night before, and I loving it. I felt like just going up and going, "Hey, last night was amazing." I'm sure he would have loved that, but I just didn't have the
Yeah,
balls to do it.
100%. He would have appreciated it.
I always think being a DJ would be the most, like a really successful DJ would be the best job in the world. Like he's only going to get people recognizing him that know him.
Yeah,
Do you know what
you're
I mean?
not like super. Yeah, you're not super famous to the point where you
Yeah,
can't walk down the street normally. Yeah,
exactly. Or like Andy C, he gets to fly around the world. He gets a rider. He gets into anywhere he wants. He is a celebrity, but he's a celebrity for only people that know who he is and follow him and love him and like him. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
He probably could pop down the shop. He would get recognised now quite a bit, I think. But
yeah.
he's got the superstar lifestyle with actually a bit of normality in it as well. I think it's the perfect combination. It's like the dream level of famous, I think.
We missed our calling, man. I mean, those days back with me trying to mix, I missed my chance. I have got all the kit. You know, I bought it all again last year. Started doing some lessons in London and whatever. So I actually probably should actually start relearning and get on it because I love it. I fucking love music.
Why not?
So,
Why not? Lara's going to have
yeah.
a mix. Would you know many DJs if you walk past them in the street?
I always think this. No, I
No, me either.
always think this. I mean, you're bad with face recognition as well, but
Yeah,
I'm
really
I'm
bad.
not really, unless I fancy them, I'm not
Yeah.
really paying much attention to their face, unless,
Yeah.
do you know, like Fred again is someone who's really fun to watch, for example,
Yeah.
or there are certain
But
DJs
he's all over
that
social media.
yeah, but just I'm saying yeah, I would recognize him for different reasons, but what I'm saying, he's an example of a DJ that I quite enjoy watching when they're
Yeah.
performing. Whereas there's a lot of DJs that are quite chill and I'm not going to be staring at them. I'm going to be probably eyes closed, just absorbing the music.
Yeah.
So, what about you?
Can I let you into a secret?
Yeah.
I actually don't really know many DJs' names. Not real names. I don't even know their DJ names. I know I know what music I like.
Mm.
And I know certain nights that I like. Do you know what I mean? Like hospitality or whatever, a glitter box, whatever it might be. And I know that that's going to be good, but I don't actually know many DJs. And even if I am told them at the time, I forget it. So when I go to a night and then people go, "Oh, who was playing?" I never know, but it's always quite embarrassing because I'm like, I'm always relieved when Andy C is on the lineup because then I can say, "Oh, Andy C," and I'll know that people are like, "Oh yeah, Andy C. Oh, it must be drum and bass." But I can't ever remember DJs' names.
So basically, you're like my mum, because my mum, anytime I ever mention I've been to a rave or a drum and bass thing, she'll be like, "Oh, was it Andy C?" Because that's the one she knows. She doesn't know. I mean, she knows it because of me. She doesn't listen to him.
So
But
what we've
yeah.
just established is that I'm really similar to your mum. She's an F, and she only knows Andy C. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and you are a mum now, so maybe it's like you're just edging closer and closer to
To mum
that
life.
phase.
So
Yeah.
so soon I'll start sneezing really loudly. That's what all mums do.
Yeah.
So back to Christmas then. What do you do in Mexico on Christmas Day?
So the last few years, it's been beach day, brunch, prosecco, bikini, and a Christmas hat, and it's
Oh,
been
and a few
perfect.
Mexican Christmas carols. So they have Christmas carols out in Mexico.
No, I think they do songs. It is quite a religious Christian place, so they definitely do like Christmas, sort of like Mexican version of Christmas songs, but they do not like knock at your door and start singing and asking for money and sweets. No, yeah, it's quite a weird thing that we do that in England.
Have you ever been Christmas caroling?
Yeah, have I never told you this?
No.
So yeah, I used to go like really stoned carol singing, like when I was young, like probably 15, 16, and we would just like kind of for jokes, but also just to make like extra pocket money, probably so we could then get more stoned. But we would go around and just sing like really high at people's doorsteps, and some people would just be like, "What the hell?" Because like we were way too old to be carol singing. You know what I mean? Like you go as
Did
kids
people
with your
give you money?
parents. Yeah. They would give us like a few coins or whatever, and yeah, it was
Oh,
just
that's
for jokes,
brilliant.
really. You know, when you're that age, like there isn't that much to do, you know, like, and you
Yeah.
do these
Yeah.
things to just entertain
Yeah.
you. It was
Yeah.
one of those things, really. Get stoned and knock at people's doors and sing really badly
That's
and
funny.
collect extra money that probably went on a box of 10 Sovereign cigarettes.
And do you have a Christmas dinner out there on Christmas Day?
Do you know what? Luckily, I have friends that are quite good cooks, and we usually come together and we kind of all do something. I usually like bring the booze or provide something else because obviously we know that the kitchen isn't really where I shine, let's say. But it's funny because this year I was pissed because I came back and I was suddenly on the plane and I was like, oh my God, I forgot to bring back like Paxo stuffing because you can't get that here. Just little things like that that make it like very like British. Obviously that's the lazy way, but I'm not going to me making stuffing from scratch, forget it. So I was pissed, and then I found a box of stuffing, Paxo stuffing, that I'd obviously brought back like last year in my cupboard, but it expired in March 2023 this year. Do we think that that
Oh,
is
it's fine. I think it's fine. I don't think there's anything particularly poisonous
toxic?
in
Oh yeah,
toxic.
I mean everything in it's toxic. That's the funny thing, actually. It's probably just like a load of chemicals, isn't it?
Oh,
But
I think you're
okay,
fine. I don't know. I
all
think we
right.
should give a warning though before you serve it out to people. You don't want to be ruining people's Christmas days. Or like be like, this is the English food that we have at home. It's called stuffing. And then everyone eating and throwing up for the next 48 hours.
Just a traditional
Tra-
English Christmas. Yeah.
just a traditional English stuffing which makes you puke.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised that you're not bringing any hot dogs to the table.
Oh my God, hot dogs. Me and hot
Do
dogs.
you remember the New
Um,
Year's Eve when you missed New Year's Eve because you were eating a hot dog?
yes, of course I remember.
When
Yeah.
it literally was the countdown, everyone was like, "Where's Lara? Where's Lara?" And you came in, and all the confetti was on the floor, and the party had all celebrated, and you came in with a hot dog from the burger van.
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember because I basically was like waiting for a while for this guy to prepare the hot dog. Obviously, this is a typical example of me eating while I'm getting on it. I seem to be able to just do that. And I remember walking back into the party. It was in like a club. I can't remember where it was, but somewhere in London. And yeah, there was like confetti all over the floor, and everyone was like, "Where the fuck were you?" And I was like, holding this hot dog, like, did I? Wait, did I miss it? You
Yeah,
guys were all like, yeah. Oh
we were
my
in
God.
Hidden in Vauxhall. And it was
Oh,
New
was it?
Year's.
Oh, was it
Yeah. Yeah, it was
hidden?
hidden, yeah, and you missed it. I've got quite a few hot dog stories, which I think I should share with everyone because they are really funny. You're literally like the hot dog queen. You've given me so many funny hot dog stories over the years. But you're also like the only person I know that eats when they get on it. Like, you literally I know it's a good thing because body needs energy, and I've only learned that like actually recently, but you are always sneaking in a packet of Quavers or a Nutri-Grain or something. You've always got something that you eat in the middle of the rave.
I know, it's so true. I've always got like a little snacky. But yeah, I remember the Quavers going into Fabric and I was so scared about getting caught, and I had them in my knickers in a bag of Quavers, and you were like, oh my, you were going around telling everyone, this girl, my mate snuck a packet of Quavers in her knickers tonight, and everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, you're
Are
making me
you not
sound
allowed to bring
fucking
food?
weird.
That's a good
No, you weren't
question.
allowed to bring any food. No, food or drink, no.
Which, if you think about it, there's like human beings dancing for like 10 hours on the spot with no food. You'd think there would
Yeah.
be food.
You'd also think that I would bring something a little more easy to sneak in than a whole bag of Quavers in your crotch.
You sometimes do. You sometimes have like a club. I always think of your husband like a club biscuit. Would you like a
Nutri-Grain.
lot of chocolate on my biscuit? Join my club. And you have a little mint club.
Yeah, I did used to. But that
Oh my
used
God,
to
you're eating
melt.
clubs in the clubs.
Oh my God, yep.
And
That
did you
is
beg the
true.
bouncers once to let you out to go and get some chips?
Yeah. I ended up begging them to let me go to that cafe that was near Fabric.
But if you think about it, it should have food inside the place. Not everyone drinks or gets on it. Like,
Yeah.
people do probably want to eat. Actually, that leads me on to another story, because I remember when Heaven had a cafe in it. I don't know if it still does, but it used to have a cafe in it. And you and me you wanted to get a hot dog. So we went to get this hot dog in the cafe. And we queued for ages. No one else was near this cafe. It's not a cafe, it was like a canteen. And you ordered a hot dog. And you asked for mushrooms on it, which, I mean, that in itself is a really weird request. Boiled mushrooms on a hot dog. I remember you had it, and I was waiting for you to finish it. And as you were eating it, suddenly you started to come up, and you were
from a double whammy.
Yeah. And this hot dog, which seemed really appealing and you were really excited for and had queued up for. Well, you didn't queue up for because there wasn't many people there actually wanting a hot dog, but you'd waited for.
I remember I waited a while for this hot dog.
I think it needs to be cooked.
Well, hopefully, I don't want a raw sausage.
And he put it together, he gave it to you, and then you started eating it at the same time you started to come up and started to rush, and the hot dog. I remember you went from really being excited and having a couple of bites to literally being revolted by it. And the whole scene to me was disgusting. But you were like, as you were looking at this second half of the hot dog with mushrooms on. Do you remember that?
It was, of course, it was really intense. It was I double dropped, and then I thought I would be able to quickly get this sausage in me before, it took effect. But we waited a long time and probably dilly-dallied as well. And then I took like one bite, and I was like, I was disgusted with this hot dog that was dripping in mushroom, mushroom
juice.
Mushroom juice, yeah. And I remember this guy said, "Does anybody want this?" And this guy was just like, "I'll take that off your hands," and just like skipped off into the rave with it. I was like,
I don't think that bit happened. I got to say, you always say that bit at the end of the story, but I don't remember anyone wanting that hot dog. I think you thought you really wanted somebody to come over and take it because you didn't want it to go to waste. But that's not the story I remember.
You don't remember that bit?
No, that didn't happen. My memory did not remember that, if that did happen. You wished that somebody was taking off your hand. You didn't want to throw it in the bin. You didn't want to waste it, which I totally get. But nobody came over and took it from you. It was revolting. It's half eaten. Everyone else was off nuts as well in Heaven. And it had boiled mushrooms on top. And it was not a good sight. In the end, you threw it away. You really wanted somebody to take it, but nobody wanted it. I can just tell you that for free.
Wait, so just can we clarify? You remember me throwing it in the bin?
Yeah.
Do you though?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I promise you. That's what I was sober. I went through a period of being like, hey man, I'm going to stay sober at raves. And it was still repulsive, even though I was sober. I remember that.
So my brain has just created like an entirely different ending of that. I'm sure it happened. I reckon I'm sure I remember an Asian guy wanted my hot dog and he skipped off into the rave light with it.
I mean, I think we should remember it differently because you're happy with your ending. So it didn't go in the bin and somebody skipped off with your half-eaten repulsive hot dog, which cost about £3. But on the subject of hot dogs, I've got another story of yours, which didn't cost £3. Do you remember this one? So we went to see Lily Allen at Hammersmith. We went to like a gig years ago. And you were hungry. You were hum-hamming about hot dogs because they were really expensive. They were like £10 for this hot dog.
Yeah.
And you were going, shall I buy it? Shall I not buy it? Shall I buy it? Shall I not buy it? And in the end, we were like, just buy the hot dog, Lara. Just get a hot dog. You're hungry. Go and get it. And you couldn't be bothered to queue, and it was expensive. But anyway, you went and you bought the hot dog. And then you came back and you were so proud of yourself, and you had this big hot dog, and you came back to us in the crowd and you took one bite and the sausage out of the hot dog flew out the end of the bun. And the sausage went pew onto the floor. And we all started looking around for it because we knew how much this hot dog meant to you. So we were all searching around the floor, and then it took somebody to go, well, there's no point looking for it. It's rolled around the floor of a gig. Like, you can't pick it up now. And you were so gutted. You didn't even have a bite of the hot dog. You just had to eat the rest of the bun with ketchup on.
Oh, do you know what? Right. What's so funny is that, on last episode, we were talking about the hollowing out the insides of the bun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it just being the baguette, because you're fucked up in that way. It was one of them. So they had a machine or like a little metal rod, they stick the baguette on it. And I remember thinking, what are you doing to my bread? Because they literally hollowed out the bread and stuck the sausage in. And that, I'm telling you now, is the reason that the sausage didn't have any friction to stay in the bun, and it just popped straight out the hole. So that's another reason that's bullshit.
So in the end, you just had a crust. You had a £10 crust, mate. You got crusty.
Yeah, but the worst, also not the worst thing actually, an additional part was that I remember what happens, it popped out, then all the ketchup dribbled down my dress I was wearing, which was light coloured. Yeah, we were in the Hammersmith Apollo in London, so that kind of slanted, so it just rolled down. We were kind of all looking for it and chasing it through the crowd, and then like you said, everyone was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, there's no point looking for it.
Yeah, funny.
But yeah, you always just love eating on the sesh. I can't believe how much you eat, really.
I know, it eats everything.
Eats everything.
I know.
What about you at Glastonbury eating so many jacket potatoes?
Every night when we were going back to the tent, there was that like all night jacket potato stand, wasn't there? I was so happy, like as if that was on our journey home. It was meant to be every night.
The way that we got you back to the tent was by saying, come on, there's a jacket potato stand. And you'd literally like zombie off back to the jacket potato stand before we went back to the tent.
Yeah, it was so warm and nourishing and just delicious. All that melted cheese, so good. Do you remember the guy? Do you remember the guy on the last night with the crusty beans?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. So should I tell the story?
What, when they ran out of beans?
Yes, with the guy. I can't remember his name now.
Tell the stories, everyone.
Yeah, so basically we're going back to the tent. It's like the last night of Glasgow, and I'm like, oh, one more potato for the road. We're queuing for ages, and finally we get to the front, and he's like, I'll try and get my jacket potato with cheese and beans, and he's like, no beans, no jacket potatoes, and my entire world comes crashing down. So I have to order a cheese and tomato toasty, which is like so disappointing, but it's the best I can do. So I'm standing around waiting. I then see someone pulling out some fresh jacket potatoes, and I'm like, oh my god, excuse me, there are potatoes. And he's like, yeah, but we've got no beans. I was like, are you sure? Like, have you checked everywhere? There's no like one lone can of beans. I'm begging at this point, right? And then he's like, no. They were in that pot over there, but it's empty. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, trust me, you don't want what's in there. And I was like, what do you mean what's in there? He was like, it's crusty. And I was like, let me see. So he opens up the, one of those big kind of hot food dispensary, whatever things.
Urn, I think they're called.
Oh, right. Okay. An urn.
A bean urn.
A fezzy urn. Bean urn. The glorious urn of life. And he opened it up, and I was like, there's beans in there. And he was like, you don't want them. You don't want them. And I was like, I do. And he was like, they were like dried. There was like a film on the top of them, and it goes all like crusty and dry. But I was like convinced that there was enough in there that if you stirred it around, it would be edible. Anyway, I was like, please, I want them. He was like, you're serious? You want them? And I was like, please, on a jacket potato. And he took pity on me, and he he then got his sleeve from his jumper and couldn't even touch the ladle because he was so repulsed by what was in there. And he starts stirring it. And I'm like, yes, 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 keep going, keep stirring. And he's literally gagging. He's like, what? Like that, trying to get the beans. And it was just so funny. The joke of it is this guy, he works on a fucking jacket potato, cheese, baked beans stall. And he's man's telling me he's got a fucking bean phobia. It's like, mate, go and work on the fucking curry stand or anywhere else.
Yeah.
The pancake stand, anywhere but the fucking place where you're serving beans all day.
He must have been so beamed out when he found out that he had the bean stand out of all of them, the jacket potato bean stand.
He was so over it. Like, I actually felt sorry for him.
I mean,
like,
day 4, day 5 of Glastonbury. Have you got anything left to give if you work there? Probably not. And you're asking for the crusty beans at the bottom of the bean urn. I don't blame him.
But everyone ate that last jacket potato and loved it. It was a fucking good one. So I'm a winner.
So here's a big question. What food do you think is the best food to eat after the sesh? Because food doesn't go down very well. And seeing as you have got it mastered with the jacket potato and beans, what other foods do you think are good for people whose mouths aren't working after gurning all night?
Yeah, it's a weird sensation. Like, you do need something with like a certain moisture and a certain like softness that doesn't require too much chewing, because there is something really disgusting about the mouth having to figure out how to chew. But I'm trying to think, like, if you have to eat, I know you don't like to eat.
You know my one. You probably know what my one because I'm known for it and I take it everywhere with me. I eat cucumbers. I feel like it cleans your teeth and I feel like it gives you the nutrients and the water that your body has lost. And it's just fresh and nice, and they don't have to go in the fridge. You can put them in your bag. I mean, I'm not sneaking a cucumber in my pants to fabric, put it that way. But for a festival, a cucumber is the perfect thing to eat after or during. I just think it's really fresh. That's my thing. I like that, or I like a jar of pickles. But, I'm weird. I eat pickles at any time. But, I like something flavoursome like that.
I don't like cucumbers, and I definitely don't like pickles. I can eat cucumber, like, if I had to. I would never bite into a cucumber. I don't like the flavour. If it was in a tuna sandwich, I would probably take it out. If there was little bits in a salad, I would potentially eat.
But the thing with you is, you would finish a night out and you would literally munch down a whole roast dinner. You've done that before. I've come home to my parents' house and they've made me a roast dinner, and I can't bear the thought of it. I think a normal person can't bear the thought of it after a whole night and day of partying. But that's your favourite thing. You'd literally wolf that down. I've seen you eat some bad roast dinners, even from like a calf after a night out. So yeah, I think you're the odd one here, not me.
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree with that. I'm like the only person I know. In fact, like, I make people quite sick with the way that I can eat on the sesh. I remember one night we had a big night out. We went to XOYO in London, and we all went back to our old house in Brixton, and we had a big after party. And I remember Isaac, our mate, he asked me, he was like, I'm really hungry. And I was like, I had one of those moments where I had like super energy, and I was like, you sit down, I've got the minerals, I'm gonna make it happen for you. Making bagels, but we didn't have a toaster at that point, so I put them under the grill, and then obviously just got chatting to someone and forgot. And I was like, shit, the bagels. And they got so burnt and black, but they were the only things that we had. So I was like, right, maybe I can sort of dress these up in some way. But then I realized that they were completely crucified. So I just thought, well, being fucked and thinking it was funny, I would just serve them anyway and just see if anyone pretended that they liked them, even though the most disgusting thing ever. And basically just like removed the top burnt bit, and everything was just hard and gross. And I just put loads of butter on it. And I went to our friend Chris, knowing that he'd be the funniest person to wind up with this. And bless him, he took one and he was just chewing. He was like, lovely. And I was like, oh my God, he's literally like, and I just could see he couldn't chew
too polite to tell you it was revolting.
Yeah, it was literally so burnt. It was hard. Like you could knock someone out with it. It was just jokes. He was trying to chew. I just did it for jokes and I was laughing so much. He was like, what? What have you done to it? What? And I was like, no, I'm just so surprised that you're actually eating that.
So let's wrap this episode up like we wrap up presents at Christmas. I just want to say Merry Christmas, Lara. Merry Christmas to all the listeners.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because our next episode will be coming out in the new year.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people listening do get a chance to have a moment where they have a party or a shindig and a hangover at some point throughout the Christmas holidays. So if you do, listen to us or tell your mates that are suffering to listen to us, because you never know, we might make them feel a little bit better. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's messaged us because they've listened and they've enjoyed the show.
Yeah, we really appreciate all like the feedback and the nice messages from people we know, but also all the people that are listening that don't even know us but are still enjoying our weird chat. We're just really, really enjoying doing this.
And I've had quite a lot of people message me saying about the whistling trick when they can't go for a wee. So I thought I'll share one more life-changing fact. So guys, when you're going raving, cut your toenails. Cut your toenails before, because otherwise, if you rave too hard, your toenails will fall off.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, another good tip. I've had friends that have actually lost both big toenails within a week of a big rave because they didn't do that. Yeah, so if you are enjoying listening to us, please do like and follow and subscribe and rate the podcast. That tells the podcast platforms that, you know, people do want to hear what we're saying and we want to be able to reach even more people in 2024. So with that, we'll see you next time. We'll see you next year. Over and out. Bye.
Bye-bye.